Hello class, this is Professor McDonald, and this will be a course introduction video to Introduction to Terrorism Studies, CRJ 2010-800. This would be for fall 2018, the first 8-week session. What I wanted to do is just kind of go over some of the requirements in the class, show you where you can find information in Canvas. For some of you, you might have already taken a Canvas course, and so you're very familiar in how to weave your way through the new learning management system that we're using here at UNCP. And for others, it'll just kind of be if you haven't done a Canvas course, hopefully this will help you in a little bit. But I'm going to keep this introductory tape very short. I'm not going to read the syllabus to you or anything like that, but let me just cover some of the key items. Number one, the textbook that we're going to be using is Essentials of Terrorism. You'll find it on the syllabus on page 1. As a matter of fact, as you're listening to this tape, I would recommend that you download the syllabus, which you can also find on Canvas. It's the first item listed in week 1 under the Home tab, and you can follow along with some of the items that I'll talk about. Either download it or print it out, whatever works for you. Now again, our required textbook is Essentials of Terrorism, Concepts and Controversies. This is the 4th edition by Gus Martin. This is a book I've used multiple times. You should be able to find a used book that's in quality condition. I've used this author's books for many years. As a matter of fact, I was one of the reviewers on this particular text, and it's very well suited for this class, especially an 8-week session. You can, if you need the ISBN number, you can find it on in the syllabus, or if you go to the campus website, all of the textbooks for all the classes are listed there. Please note that there is a textbook companion website, and as I'm talking, I'll highlight some of the areas you'll see. What I actually have done is opened up week 1 and week 2. That's how I set up the modules in this class. I do it by week. And so if you pull up week 1, you'll see all the key documents that you need to access during that first week. So there is a textbook companion website for students. I highly recommend you use that. I've created a link here where it'll take you right there. And just another tool to assist you in this class. Again, the course will be done in Canvas. If you haven't used Canvas before, you need to introduce yourself. I've placed a couple of hyperlinks in our syllabus that can help you. Essentially, study of terrorism is an exploration into human behavior. It involves the examination of highly volatile human interaction between people, nations, and movement engaged in terrorist violence. This course particularly will focus on the post-World War II era, and our course activities, we have really 3 learning parts to this textbook, and I follow along with the textbook. And that's Understanding Terrorism, which is a conceptual review in part 1. Part 2 is Terrorist Environments, and part 3 is the Terrorist Battleground. In the syllabus, give you some background about myself. I'm not going to read it to you, but I'm a retired federal agent. Additionally, I worked with the Department of State Diplomatic Security Service in their ATA, or their Anti-Terrorism Assistance Program, training police officers and government officials overseas at many of the sites that we'll talk about, Middle East, South Asia. I've worked in Pakistan and places like that. This is my 9th year at UNCP. Now, as far as course activities, the course itself runs from Wednesday, August 15th to Friday, October the 5th. So you'll be pretty busy. You'll not be overly busy, but you have to stay up. If you haven't done an online class, that's the one thing you'll learn, that if you fall behind, you're going to have real problems. So you have to stay up with your work each week. I've set up the course in modules by week, and I've already said that, but I just want you to understand our course week runs from Monday until Sunday night, midnight. again, one of the first things you need to do is download the syllabus, read it very carefully, and it has all the information you need. I talk about honor code, I talk about plagiarism. I do not intend on using proctors and testing individuals in this class. Everyone will take the test online. You won't have to go to a proctoring site where you have to pay to take the quizzes. Canvas kind of calls tests quizzes, and that's what I've done in this class as well. Now our quizzes, we'll have 6 quizzes in this class, and I'm going to click on quiz here in Canvas. You'll notice that you can actually access things like quizzes. Here's week 2. You'll have your first quiz in week 2. Quizzes will be open for 48 hours. That should accommodate everybody's learning schedule, learning and work schedule. You can access the quiz here in the modules. You could click on quizzes. You can access them there. You can go to assignments, and you can access them there. So all of your quizzes and writing assignments that you do in this class can be accessed at multiple locations within Canvas. Let's go back to the Home tab. Okay. So again, our quizzes are open for 48 hours. When you finish a quiz, you'll get your score only. You're not going to get feedback on the quiz, and I do that to reduce the opportunity for collaboration. The day after a quiz closes, so let's say a quiz closes on Tuesday at 11:59 p.m., Tuesday night. The following day, Wednesday, from 12 noon until 8 p.m., I will make the quiz open and available for each student. You'll be able to access your quiz. You'll see what you got wrong, and if you got questions wrong, it'll give you the right answer. So those will be available for an 8-hour block after each test. I use pool questions. I've put together pools of questions for each test. No student will have the same questions as another student. I also do that to try to reduce the opportunity for collaboration. I want people to do their own work and not work with somebody else. So you all, when you take a test, you will not have the same questions that other people have in the class. And this is a full class. We have 6 quizzes, so roughly 1 for every 2 chapters. The final exam is not comprehensive. So, but what you're going to find in this textbook, there's a lot, what I like about it is there's a lot of repetition, which is good. That really helps learning. And so with the repetition, you'll cover some topics early in the textbook, and you'll revisit them in much greater detail later in the textbook. The textbook is set up for that way, and that's one of the reasons I chose this textbook for this class. In addition to the textbook, you're also going to have 2 writing assignments, and they're very unique because in these writing assignments, I'm going to introduce you to the Global Terrorism Database. This is a open source database that's funded by the Department of Homeland Security. The database itself is maintained at the University of Maryland, and it contains open source information on all terrorist attacks from 1970, and it just updated the 2017 information, which is great for us. So it usually runs about a year behind. So we'll have from 1970 to the end of 2017. And what I will do is, in these assignments, you will actually go in, I will give you problems, and you'll go in and query the database and extract the information, and you'll report that in a document to me. Now here's the good thing. I provide multiple documents to help you. There's a GTD, which is Global Terrorism Database. Information document just kind of tells you about the database, how to get there. There's actually a tutorial that I want all of you, if you haven't used the Global Terrorism Database before, which most of you haven't, this is a tutorial I've put together much like this tape here, and I walk you through how to access the database and some of the tricks that you use to get the information. And if you don't want to listen to the tutorial, then you can do the instructions and practice exercise. This is a written tutorial which shows you how to access the information, how to extract data, and I give you some practice exercises to practice using the database, and I give you the answers in that document so you can become familiar with it. Do not try to do these assignments without taking advantage of the background information I provided here. And then when you're ready, you'll actually have the assignments there's only 2 of them. They're open for a week. You would actually click on here, you'll download the assignment, and then you'll also upload on Canvas your answer sheet at this location. Very simple. So we'll have 6 quizzes. You'll have 2 of these practical exercises using the Global Terror database. And then we'll also have 2 discussion forums. And our first discussion forum will deal with the media, and that'll be in week 3. Now, what's also important here is I am going to upload, I haven't done it yet, but I am going to upload a discussion forum document that explains how I want these discussion boards to operate, okay? In other words, we have to be very respectful to each other. They're not political. I don't want to see anybody's political opinions. I explain everything in the document, and hold on one second. This computer's trying to do something. Okay, good. I explain everything in the discussion forum document. So before you do the first discussion board, you want to make sure you look at those documents. I will upload that document. I'll put it in week 3. Make a note to myself. It'll give you the rules. We'll have 2 of those as well. Now your quizzes will count 80% of your grade. Your 2 practical exercises using the Global Terrorism database will count 15%, and the 2 discussion forums are 5%. Grades are weighted, which means obviously tests count more than others, other aspects or other requirements within the course. Now, if you miss a quiz, you better have a good reason. I explain the authorized reasons as to how you can miss a quiz in the textbook. If you don't have one of those excuses, then you're going to get a 0. You cannot afford to miss assignments. And I am a real stickler about that because I give you plenty of time to take a quiz. If you do have an authorized excuse, maybe your National Guard units got called up, or you're an athlete and you have to be away for an away game, that sort of thing, you need to let me know in advance. So I explain that fully in the syllabus, so make sure those requirements are met, or you're deathly ill, that sort of thing. I will, like for example, if you have a National Guard requirement, I'll expect you to provide some documentation from your first sergeant, and you can email that to me. The best way to reach me in this course is through email. My email address is located on page 1 of the syllabus. I check these things every day, even if I'm in a travel status. So that is the preferred way for you to reach out to me. I'll send out a weekly email just kind of reminding everyone of what's due that week, but it is your responsibility to fill out your personal calendar so you know when things are due. Now, let me just go through this again real quick. This is our course shell within Canvas. The class is set up into weekly modules, week 1, 2, 3. If you click on these things, it'll give you all the information that you need for that week. I have for each, let's go here to week 2. I have a PowerPoint that I want you to read and review to help you understand the course material for each chapter. Other than chapter 1, I also have a YouTube video where I go through the PowerPoint and provide further explanation as to items in that chapter. I highly recommend you take advantage of this resource. You will have films to watch. Some of them are a little bit longer than others. Some of them are just maybe only a couple of minutes. Again, everything's done by week. When you're finished a week, you click here and the week shrinks. Okay? your film clips, everything, all your links are located under this page. So anyway, that's a brief introduction to the class. After you've listened to this tape and after you've downloaded and read the syllabus, if you have any questions about course expectations, all you got to do is send me an email, or if it's during a work day, give me a call. I have an answering machine on my phone here, and I'll get back to you. But again, I prefer email because that is a way I can get back to you very quickly. And that will end this course introductory tape.